AITA for refusing to take my daughter to my ex-husband's wedding? My 42F ex-husband, 45M, and I were together for 20 years. We had a beautiful daughter together, Jocelyn, 14F. We got a divorce 5 years ago due to infidelity on his part. I was devastated. He was the love of my life and he betrayed all of the trust and loyalty we had built up. To make matters worse, he ended up in a relationship with the woman he cheated on me with. They got engaged 1 year later and are set to be married in 2 weeks. Honestly, I still am heartbroken over my divorce. It's hurtful to me that we were together for 20 years, and he could just go fall in love with someone else, as if I was nothing. However, Jocelyn was only 9 when we divorced, and he's a great father, so I would never want to come in between their bond. Jocelyn loves his fiancée as she's very sweet to her, but she doesn't know the reason why her dad and I divorced. I want to tell her when she's a bit older and he doesn't want to tell her at all. Anyways, I compromised with him that Jocelyn could come to the wedding, but that he would have to provide the transportation to and from the wedding. As I want no part of it, I don't want to drop my daughter off at his wedding. I don't want to see all the decorations and the happy guests. It'd just be too much for me. I didn't tell him all of that obviously, but he agreed. Today he calls me and asks if he can ask for a huge favor. It turns out that his future in-laws are flying in the morning of the wedding, and he has to go pick them up. Therefore, he can't pick up my daughter the day of and wanted to ask if I could take her. I said absolutely not and asked why he can't pick her up the day before when she gets off of school. He said he doesn't want to make the drive twice, and that he will likely not have time as he has to prepare for the rehearsal dinner. I asked why can't the bride pick up her parents. He said she'll be getting her hair done and won't be able to. I laughed and told him there was no way I'd take my daughter, and that he'd have to figure it out. Boy, why did I say that? My daughter ran downstairs crying. Face beat red 10 minutes after my conversation with her dad, calling me terrible and accusing me of not wanting her to spend time with her dad. I told her that's not the case and she demanded to know why I couldn't take her. I couldn't give her an answer and she ran upstairs crying. Now I'm getting messages from his family calling me heartless and cold and a bitch for trying to ruin his special day over a relationship that is long over. My family understands my point of view, but I feel terrible that I've upset my daughter. I don't know what to do. AITA? Should I just put aside my feelings and take her? He couldn't find any trustable adult to pick his daughter up? There must be someone? An uncle? Grandma? No one? Seriously? NTA. Co-parenting doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice well-defined boundaries. NTA. NTA. The people he needs to pick up can get a taxi. His first responsibility should be to his daughter, if he actually wants her there. And I think it might be time to tell your daughter a bit more about what happened. She's a teenager now, and needs to be learning lessons about loyalty and managing relationships responsibly. Her getting the impression that this situation is all right, and that you're wrong for not being happy that the ex-husband who cheated on you is getting remarried is not a good place for her to start when it comes to learning how to expect good treatment from future partners. If he thinks picking up his future in-laws is more important than picking up his own daughter, then he's very, very wrong. The adult in-laws can manage a variety of transportation options. A young teenager can't. He's showing his priorities, and it isn't his daughter. And you need to be prepared to help protect her and guide her as he continues into the future. Wanting to play happy family and have his daughter go along with it while he puts her in second place to his new family. It's time to tell your ex if he's going to play the manipulation card, then you can play the truth card. And the truth always wins. Let him know he can either arrange transport for her as agreed, or you'll tell her why it's so painful for you to be at his wedding even for a drop-off. And it's because he destroyed your family for his current wife. NTA. And please don't let your daughter go through life thinking it's okay for men to control and manipulate her like this. Because that's exactly what he's doing to you. He's banking on you being the bigger person and not telling the truth so he can control the narrative. Remind him you hold the truth card. That trumps all. All of his relatives who are sending you hate messages. Why can't one of them take her? Why can't the future Il Zuber from the airport? You told your ex that transportation was his responsibility. He claims to want your daughter there, but he is putting literally everything and everyone ahead of her. Then he calls her right up to make it your fault. Dude is an extreme NTA. But 14 is old enough to understand cheating. I would tell darling daughter that while I love her and I love that she has a good relationship with her dad and her future stepmom, I can't handle seeing their wedding when they started dating while dad and I were still married. Then I would ask her if she has any ideas as to how she can be at the wedding without me having to see it. Sometimes teenagers are incredible out-of-the-box thinkers. NTA. But I also think your daughter is old enough to know the truth about her father, otherwise you will be the bad guy going forward. NTA. Tell her that your deal was for him to pick her up. This is what he agreed to way in advance. He's the one backing out of the deal. He doesn't want to make the drive twice, and I don't believe there is no other solution. He just thinks it's easier to make you do it. Edit to add. Op. If you want to bargain with your ex, tell him that you've honored your agreement to keep the details of your divorce private to preserve his relationship with your daughter. In return, he needs to honor his agreement that he'll provide transportation to the wedding, either by Uber, taxi service, another family member taking her, or just being willing to make the drive twice for his own freaking daughter. It isn't that hard. If he insists on making you the bad guy over this, then you might have to make him the bad guy by unearthing the skeletons in the closet. NTA. She is 14, old enough to discuss transportation options with her dad. I bet he hasn't exhausted all of his options and is relying on you because he knows that you will turn into the bad guy in this situation if you don't comply. It's not for 2 weeks. That's plenty of time for him to find alternate arrangements for her to get there. You have set your boundary. Maybe you can compromise to take her to a midway point, or to a friend or family members. His family is pissed enough to text you. They can step up. His wedding and his inability to plan stopped being your problem a long time ago. You would be ta if you stopped her going. But you're not. He's the ah for breaching a boundary you put in place. And a simple and easily worked around one at that. I think he has forced your hand because he doesn't want to drive twice and has made you out to be the bad guy to your daughter. I think you need to gently tell her what happened and why you want no part of the wedding. That you are glad she has a good relationship with her father and his fiancé, but that you can't go to their wedding and you are sure her father can find a way. NTA. You should tell your daughter why you divorced, since it explains why you don't want to go near the wedding at all. Also, it's her father's fault for not prioritizing her. He is choosing to pick up his fiancé's parents over his daughter. And he said he doesn't want to make the drive twice to get her. There was quite literally one condition to your daughter going to the wedding, and that was that he provide transportation, and he cannot even do that. NTA. He's outright manipulating you and your daughter. The fact that she came downstairs crying 10 minutes later is because he called her to use her emotions against both you and her. He specifically called your daughter to encourage this reaction in the hopes that seeing her upset would change your mind. He doesn't care about your daughter any more than he cares or ever cared about you. This gaslighting fool needs to stop controlling your life. Stand your ground. I'm sorry your daughter is caught in the middle of this. Is there honestly no one from his family that can come pick her up? You set a boundary, you aren't saying no, she can't go. Why can't he ask a family member to pick her up? NTA, he can get her before he picks up the in-laws. He can get her the day before. Another family member can pick up her or the in-laws. He's not making any effort to find a solution on his end. His self-created emergency is not your problem. NTA. You don't owe his cheating ass anything. If he wants his daughter at his wedding, he can figure it out. Trust me. She will understand the situation if you just tell her what happened. It's still her dad, so she might not accept the reality immediately. But if you tell her the reason why you don't want to go there, I'm certain she'll understand. NTA. NTA. He doesn't want to make the drive twice, so? You don't want to make the drive once. If he wants his daughter there, the agreement was that he would organize her transportation. The audacity of him coming to you with this is astounding, actually. Why does he think he can call on you for this job? While he's prioritizing his new in-laws? Nope. She is blaming you because she doesn't know your reasoning. Which, once the wedding is done, you should explain to her. 15 years old is old enough. NTA. But it might be time to tell your daughter the truth. Right now, your relationship with her is suffering because she doesn't have the full context. It will only continue to suffer the longer you appear jealous and petty. Because she will resent you for it. Or, she could pick it up and think that behaving that way is reasonable. I think we assume we're protecting kids by not respecting them with the truth. But if she's old enough to think you could be keeping her from him, then she's old enough to know. And your ex is benefiting from that by manipulating her, which is probably the real reason he doesn't want to tell her. NTA. Just be honest with her. Your dad and I got divorced because he cheated on me with this person. Your dad loves you and is a good dad. But I need to have boundaries for myself.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.